Hey, what's up, guys? MVP here. Welcome to the most valuable podcast, and it is valuable because it's something you will hear that we say or talk about will be super valuable to you, right? It's episode number 11, and it's one of my favorite episodes because we focus in on mental health, right? Mental health is a big issue that's happening in the world today. We've lost so many lives to it, and it's a very good discussion to help everybody out there, encourage everybody out there that if you're going through something, to try reach out, and also to try and identify when somebody is struggling with things as well. And so I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Right, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's get to watching.
One, two, you hear the clock ticking, tick tock. You about to stop living, tick tock. I want you to remember me, tick tock. But the dead don't have no memory. I'm coming. Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming. I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. I'm coming. Nobody can stop me, nobody can hold me, nobody control me. I'm coming. I'm here to do my thing, I'm here to bring the pain. I'm never ever gonna change. Like Tropicana, I got the juice. All for the least, they let the dog loose. Don't make me call up the crew. Now they getting scared, wanna call up a truce. I'm the one like Neo, cocky like Teo. Nobody can guard me like I'm shooting a free throw. This is illegal.
What is up? It is MVP, and we're here for another episode of the most valuable podcast. And to my left, which is probably to your right, is the man himself, Simi Leota. That's the guest that we have here, man. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Talofa lava.
Talova.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's really good to have you on, man, because I'm actually really glad you reached out to jump on here, because I really love the discussion that we're about to have today. I think it's something that is super important for people to know.
Yep.
And so, yeah, let's get started, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I was born, raised in Auckland, New Zealand. I'm married, have 6 children, 2 grandkids, yeah. And I worked as security in a hospital for 18 years, and I came to a crossroads in my job, and then I started studying and left my full-time job to do counselling, yeah, and that's what I do now.
Yeah, that's dope. And you work for a company called Hard Cuddles, right?
Yeah, so I work for an organisation.
An organisation, yep.
Yep, and so we mainly look after men's mental health.
Yep.
So we use our experiences, stories, and our own personal growth to present presentations at prisons and schools, and then we counsellors as well. We have our own clients, and we have sessions with our clients, work with them. Usually, these are a lot of them have been through rejection in their life, some sort of rejection. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. So you mentioned you're doing security, then you went studying. The type of organization that you're in with now, was that something that you were always looking to get involved in? Or did something like in your life take place that kind of like pushed you towards this type of environment?
That's a good question. So I think I was like 45, and I sort of figured out that I can't be doing security, I can't be tackling patients, or I can't be getting involved with violence, because I'm going to get to an age where I'm not going to be able to do all those sort of physical stuff.
It's a young man's game, man.
Yeah, it is a young man's game. But But I visited New Zealand, and I have a brother-in-law over there, and he does similar work that I do now. He's been doing it for years. And he started education at the age of 45. And that stirred up some emotions in me to think, I can do this. And he's done his masters, and he's in his 50s now, and he's flying. And I just thought, because I think that I'm a pretty empathetic guy anyway, and I look at people, I don't judge them, but I look at them and think, oh, wonder why that person's like that. Wonder what's happened in his life. I've always sort of been like that way.
Yeah.
So, I've been, and that sort of, so a thing happened where I had to leave my job, but then it just, another thing popped up, and then I started studying, and I done my diploma, and next week I start my bachelor in counselling. So, yeah, me and my boss from Hard Cuddles, me and my good friend James Harding,
Oh, damn. That's actually really interesting that you say that. I will get into the Hard Cuddles a little bit more,
sure.
but actually just wanted to touch on that, how you went back to, you decided to go to school at age 45. I feel like, because when I hear that coming from you, like you know, you're a Polynesian man, and a lot of Polynesians don't want to, like, that doesn't even cross their mind, because I feel like already to them it's like, nah, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? To hear you do that, I'm like, how many Polynesians do I know at that age is willing to, like, you know, go to school to get something like where you're at now? Like, I don't know, I just thought that was an amazing thing.
It was quite interesting. It was, I put a lot of thought into it, because my wife sort of planted a seed years ago and said, you can't be doing this forever.
Right.
You're gonna have to start looking at something else, because you are going to get old. So she planted that seed probably back when I was 40, and it's always been in my head, sort of mulling around, and then after seeing my brother-in-law, it sort of, you know, it sort of presented itself, like, man, I can do this.
Yeah,
you know,
that's so dope.
It was good, and it just promoted me to keep pushing, and here I am.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess for me, I like hearing that, because it's like, you know, when you see someone else do something, it tells you that I can do it too.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and so I think that's cool. And you know, who knows? Maybe I'll be going back to school at some point.
You know, when I was at school, I probably got a degree in eating lunch, because that's what I was good at. You know, I was good at that, but I was not ready to sit down and read books. Like, from the age of 45, 47, I started reading books, like really reading books, and I finished a book last week on Eddie Jones, and I loved it. I've probably read about 3 books this month.
That's
just
crazy.
To get me up to speed with the bachelor starting next week, just to, you know,
Sheesh.
it's like, you know when you go for a jog,
yeah,
fit. So I was getting fit with words. So, you know what I mean? So that's the processes I'm sort of implementing for myself.
Yeah, that's cool. Appreciate that. All right, so Hard Cuddles. All right, I read a little bit about what you guys do with the link that you shared me. I absolutely love it, man, because I feel like, especially right now with the things that are happening in the world, mental health is becoming like one of the major issues. And like back in the day, I'm talking about back in the day, like when I was growing up, I didn't really hear much about mental health, but I don't think we had a name for it.
Yeah.
I felt like everybody was going through it, but we never called it anything. Yeah. Or if I feel like, and I will touch on this too, a lot of Pacific Islanders don't even talk about it, which is why we're probably not familiar with mental health, because we avoid it completely.
Yeah.
But like now, social media is involved, and you just see it, like everybody's struggling with mental health, and that's why I love what you're doing.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome organization. So we identify with, like for me, I'm not the perfect man.
Right.
Yeah, there are things that have happened in my life which I'm not proud of, and I'm aware of my feelings and that. And before I got to this space here, I was probably not a great man. I didn't. I sort of perpetuated violence. Not being aware of my own. For me, it was a lot of fear. Fear drove me to do a lot of sort of violent stuff,
right.
Or fear drove my fear of not being approved. So I'm looking for approval, and so I'll do things so then I'll fit into that group, or something like if something's happened to me, I'll repress it because I don't want to perceive to anyone, and this probably goes for all males, that I look weak. And so over the last couple of years, I've done a lot of work, sort of self-development in sort of voicing my emotions. And so the boys at Hard Cuddles, they really helped me with that. There's been a lot of tears and soul searching, and I apologised to my wife last year for my behaviour towards her. Because at the end of the day, between me and my wife, we're a team, and we're after the same goals. It's about the family, and it brought us a lot closer, and it made me appreciate, all aspects of our family. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I think like with your experience, just listening to it, I feel like that puts you in a better position to reach out and help other people because you've walked their shoes.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for somebody to listen to someone who has never experienced these type of things, doesn't know what it feels like, and it's hard to take advice or words from them.
Yeah.
But whereas someone like you, like coming from an experience that you recognize, was a mistake and you did all that, but now you're using that, to move forward and teach other people how to deal with it instead of, dealing with the way that you used to. I think that's amazing in itself.
Well, I think it's a learned behaviour,
right?
And I sort of don't want my children to do the same thing. I try and want to break the cycle, and then show them that that I really care about your mum, and then I want to show them how to treat a woman and all these sort of things. I'm not saying for men to sort of change their values or try and be more like a woman. I think our dads and our mums showed us some really good core values growing up. But some things within men's culture, like amongst your friends or at a rugby club or your groups, there's sort of issues there where men are afraid to speak up because they don't want to be weak. And they promote this sort of toxic masculinity where you got to hold it all in, and I'm tough. And so I think us at Hard Cuddles, we are trying to promote a masculinity that is more encompassing to include everyone, and not having a man at the top, but maybe having a man and a woman together, at the top. And just a lot of men's groups, they have biases, and then it gets passed on down to generations and all that sort of stuff. So
like the cool thing about it too is like these types of organizations, right? The Hard Cuddles, and there's probably some more out there. They're not promoted enough because I personally don't even know of any. You probably have to go into like some deep research to like find these types of organizations, and I always wonder, why aren't these being promoted enough when these are the types of things that is needed the most? And that's what I love with Hard Cuddles is like, you just done a podcast a few days ago, now you're here with me, and it's like you're really trying to push it out there to share, because a lot of guys I know, some of them do want to heal and speak out, but they just don't know where to go.
Or don't know how.
Don't know how.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I suppose I wanted to talk to just Polynesians or men in general.
Yeah.
That we're here and we want to help, especially to my PI community because they're still going on the old school methods.
100%.
100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just want to give them an option to we put it out there, and if they come, that's cool. We can help.
Yeah.
And I feel personally that I have a responsibility to my own community. Yeah. So that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah. No, that's really good too, because you heard about the stabbing of that Polynesian kid.
Yeah. I actually wrote an article about it. It's still sitting on my laptop. So yeah, that was very sad. My condolences goes out to the family.
Yeah, sad situation, and after something like that to happen, I feel for the family because it's like now their mental health is at stake now because they have to figure out how to live the rest of their life without their son, who they thought they would see do all these amazing things growing up.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah. That's that whole grief and loss sort of thing. It's and the situation itself, how it happened, it's very sad. I mean,
yeah.
I'm only just thinking maybe this is how it happened. Maybe it was a group of kids who wanted to get approved by their mates, so maybe they did this to try and get their rep out there or whatever. Yeah. Or may have been an accident. I'm not sure, but I think all of us, we all try and fit into a group, so we try and seek approval all the time, and whether we do crazy stuff to get in there, so and it needs to be addressed,
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel because that's what I wanted to touch on is a lot of violence that takes place, I feel happens because there's not enough healing taking place, and then because they aren't healing from situations that have probably happened to them growing up, and they're using that as a reason to express themselves. Sure. Their anger is, do you feel like that's the case too? Or?
I think that's part of it. It's a lot of getting influenced as well. I think music can influence them. Mm-hmm. Having the right shoes like TNs, having looking a certain way, or following a group, or but I think as a community, we all have a responsibility to our young ones, but I personally, I think we probably need more positive role models out there, or mentors, because I work in in counselling, so there's three guys, and it's only three of us. There's not too many male counsellors out there. When I studied, there was only 3 guys, and there was probably about 12 girls. All girls,
huh?
Yeah. So there's a real need for male role models, or just male counsellors and mentors.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody has a story, and that story can resonate with a lot of young people, and could help them on their journey on being successful, or whatever they're looking for, following their dreams. Or
bro, that is so crazy. There's not that many men, because personally, I know a lot of men who would be great at that.
Of course.
But then there's this thing that people would always say, that boys tend to open up more to females than males, but I disagree with that.
I disagree too.
I disagree 100% with that, because I feel males understand males in ways that a female cannot understand. So
I think a lot of men don't want to burden their mates with their problems.
Right.
But if they did talk to someone, they'd be surprised. Their friends will probably try and help them. but like guys are too scared. And it starts from at a young age,
Yeah.
At a young age, they get scared. They don't want to. They follow their dads, and their dads have probably been taught the same thing, and it gets just passed on and on. So they get presented with a problem, and then their dads tell them, you have to work it out on your own. Don't ask for help, because then
that's how I did it.
Yeah. And it creates fear, because if I tell that person, then they're gonna think that I'm weak. So I won't help them. But these issues, like, if you can't talk about your emotions, can lead to suicide thoughts and anxiety and all these depression, and if you hold it all in, you start thinking in your own head that I'm not good enough. You're not getting that approval, or that sort of stuff.
That's very interesting. And suicide to me is like, the numbers is just too high. I need to do the research to see the exact number, but the numbers that we're losing to suicide because of mental health is...
So the top risk factor in suicide is being a male. That's like coming out of the stats out of Australian sort of literature or whatever. But that's the main one is because men for many years since the beginning of time have always been the head of the house, right? And so they've always had the control. Now, if you try and take that control, they have a fear of when you try and take the control of them, they get angry, and sometimes that fear can be like, if I don't fit into, like, if your sexuality is your gay, and you don't fit that stigma or that belief of what a man is, then that sort of plays on their mental health, and then
I see what you're saying.
And then all of a sudden I think, I'm not good enough. And I've had to go through that journey with my son, because he went down the same path, because he couldn't. He thought that my thoughts of being a man. So he thought in his head that he had to be tough. He had to be all these things.
Right.
But he didn't fit that. So we had a good conversation, and I just told him that it's all good. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. So, but he went through same thoughts of suicide and all that sort of stuff, and we got him the necessary help, and now he's flying. He's happy, and I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome to hear, man. Because I really like how you sat him down and you had this talk, because like a lot of Polynesians are scared. For me, like my family, like me, Herman, like we grew up never talking about our problems to each other. Like that was just something we don't do. Now we're starting to understand the importance of doing that. And, when I look at it, I'm just like, man, I wish that I didn't have that type of mindset, And I feel like back then, if I did want to have a chat with my parents, I feel like I could have. Like I could have easily just sat down and had a chat with them about things, but it was just somehow like put in my mind that we don't do that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, our dads and our grandfathers, they probably had the same thing, and they've never, expressed their emotions, because the same culture might have been back then. I make decisions around here, and they've passed it on to the next person. We don't talk about our feelings, and then we're in the generation now where it's quite, the society is different now.
Way different.
Different. So, and we're finding out that there's a lot more men who have suicide thoughts, and so we try and help them with their thoughts, at Hard Cuddles. We try and promote different ideas and use our lived experience to try and get them through the journey. Yeah, that's what we love, to talk to them and offer them different, work with them and offer them different outcomes, because maybe the outcomes that they're currently on has always resulted in the same way. So
I just noticed you wearing the Hard Cuddles shirt.
yeah, man, I gotta rip my
that's
my crew, man.
That's cool. Yeah, 100%. What I love about your organization too is that, if there are people out there who are scared to open up in their families, like, hello,
yeah, that's right.
you can come open up over here in a safe environment.
Yeah, we create a safe environment, or so, and we have no judgment.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, it stays with us. That's it. And we'll try and coach you through it, offer some examples, or we can work together to find out together, because I might not know. I don't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the best man, but I find doing this uncomfortable work and surrender, with men is challenging, and it's my passion at the moment, and I love it.
Yeah. There's a question that just came to my mind. I just lost it.
No, good.
I just lost it. I just think it's just important, and people need to know, where they can go, to offer this. Okay. Here's my question.
Sure.
When someone comes into, like, to come see you guys, is it tough at first, like, getting trust and, like, or do people just come automatically? They know who you are and just.
So another thing about Hard Cuddles is we use emotional intelligence to connect with them. So human connection for us is massive. We can connect with pretty much anyone. I've had a few clients and we connect straight away, whether it's because they see me as this big dude, or they see me as Samoan, or Polynesian, and that's a big thing. If you can't connect with a human, like really connect with them, and just listen, because that's the main tools we use, is just
listening,
active listening, and maybe chucking some affirmation at them, and talking about their strengths and all these things, that makes them want to come see you again.
Mm-hmm.
I just started with a client on Monday, and it was just a feeling out process to see how we went.
Yeah.
And he wanted to. I saw him on Monday. He wanted to see me on Wednesday again. I said to him, we'll have to do it next week. Cause I'm a bit busy this week, but we'll do it next week. So, he's a cool dude, But yeah, connection is massive for us. We connect with. When we go into these prisons, we create a space where so if I share really hard, some really vulnerable stories, then that will connect with the prisoners, and then it'll give them license to really share their stories, and their stories are pretty confronting and hard-hitting to us.
Yeah. I think that's the beautiful thing about sharing a story, like how you're saying you shared, just everything, like not holding anything back, and when you're able to speak so openly and so freely about those situations, it's amazing how much other people you free.
Of course, yeah.
Just from you sharing, your example. I think that's the most amazing part about it.
And sharing. I've spoken to some men, and they've shared some really deep secrets, and they've thanked me because it's been a weight lifted off them, because they it's been they've been suppressing it for so long, and it's maybe been getting them into trouble, or it's been just the anxiety gets up when they see when something sort of goes on, and so that they've thanked me and said to me, "Thanks, man, I needed that." But then when they pass it on to me, it's pretty heavy on me. So then I have to pass it on to someone. It's some of the stuff that people mention, and it's holding them back in life. They pass it to me, and it's heavy. And if I don't do something with it, because we have sort of supervisors that we have to pass it on to. and because they wouldn't have any contact with this person, so once we pass it on to them, it sort of lifts off us as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy stuff, you know, and a lot of men out there suffer from it, and it sort of creates a lot of mental health problems for themselves.
Yeah. Must be heartbreaking to hear some of these stories, eh? Like,
oh man, I tell you, there is some stories where, you know, they've grown up on their own since they were like 6.
yeah,
You know, they've been living on the streets or whatever, or you know, they've grown up in a drug family, and both parents are on drugs, and they had to try and fend for themselves and look after their parents at the same time. So these are some really hard, and I give them affirmation of how strong they are, even though they grew up like that, but they find a way to survive.
yeah, to go through that
and still come out. Yeah, they're still living.
Yeah,
You know, and striving, and sometimes they just need to hear it, and if you tell it back to them and they see it, they go, "Wow,
mm-hmm.
I don't think of it like that," and it just pumps them up even more, and then hopefully guides them into into an outcome that they're hopeful about. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing these stories that people have, like, you know, their life stories. A lot of times when we see somebody doing something, we don't know the individual's history of why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of judgment comes because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you stereotype people. Like, you see someone on the street, and they might be a drug addict, they might be like on the nod, you know, with their. But then you know, like, for me, if I look at them, I think, if I add empathy, and they go, man, you know, what's your story?
Yeah,
I bet you his story is pretty astounding and confronting and raw, and you know, and maybe he takes drugs to sort of to get rid of the pain in his own heart. You know what I mean? So everybody has a story, and there's pain everywhere, and yeah, I try and hopefully ease that pain and try and present a shift for them in their own mindset somehow.
yeah.
But yeah, sometimes we just it's like a chess game, just
Yeah,
one day at a time for them. You know, that's cool.
yeah. What would you, I guess, for like, just for anyone in general, right? Because, you know, everybody knows people, obviously.
Yep.
I guess, what are some signs do you think we need to pay attention to know that somebody isn't right? You know, because sometimes there's a lot of signs there, but we just miss it completely.
Of course, yeah. I think sometimes we miss it because because everybody's all on their own journey. Everybody's just into their own thing, into your phone. But you know, like you'll know if someone is like, there's a lot of telltale signs where usually if you know a person and they're going through something, if they're usually really chatty and then all of a sudden they're really quiet, you know, that's
something.
That's something there. And usually if they play sports and they're not doing it anymore, there's usually something there. Or if you walk in and their body language is a bit like standoffish, or if they're agitated, or these are all telltale signs.
Yeah.
But I think it's for us as friends to be aware and just ask. Sometimes, and I fall in that category sometimes, where I'll see, something's wrong, I think I better leave.
Yeah.
I don't have the courage to say, bro, are you okay? Or, hey mate, what's going on? But not do it in a big sort of where there's heaps of people. Just do it on a down low, when you're on your own with them.
Yeah, or just shoot him a text.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, those are sometimes situations where it's like, I'll just leave him alone for a little bit, and you're kind of unsure. I would just say, like, just do it. Like, always, like, if you're like undecisive, I think the decision should just always be to like, just check in anyway.
Yeah, it's always good to check in.
Yeah,
because if you say something, they might need it, and then they might just jump on you might not jump on you, but you know, they might just
Yeah, I know what you mean.
start disclosing straight away to you, and then you go, whoa. Yeah, and it's awesome when they disclose like that and they get it out, because it creates a shift in them and it makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a friend. Well, that's what if it's a true friend, you know. If you go, if you say, you know, to a person that you know and you know that something's going on and you talk to them, you know, you could be freeing them up from something, and then your bond will be closer. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Human connection. It all comes back to that human connection.
Yeah,
it's massive.
Yeah. Because like, say someone goes through something, right?
Yep.
And then, you know, they probably won't look at it as a big deal, so they'll just store it away.
Yeah.
And then something else comes,
yeah.
and then they store it away.
Yeah.
And another one comes like, It could be little, big, but in the end, all these things to me, they all add up.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I always feel like, because to me, it's like I've trained my mind to like, the moment something
deflect.
comes,
Yep.
it's the moment, like now it's like, I used to be that guy, build all these issues, yeah. But now I've trained myself to like, all right, if an issue comes, straight away deal with it, like take care of it right then and there, right? Because the last thing you want is 10 different issues,
yeah.
And then that just like, then you get to the point where it's like, I don't know what to do with this now, and then you start getting depressed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important to just identify straight away to take care of it.
Yeah, I think sometimes men don't have the tools.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, they don't know how to express, or they're too shy, or they don't want to be perceived as weak. That's come up again. So, and they don't like to talk to anyone, because you know they want to try and fix it themselves.
Yeah.
And then they stay stored away, and then it just, like you say, it builds up, but then it's going to come out eventually.
At some point, eh?
Yeah. And it usually comes out with maybe violence, or something hits the wall, or something breaks, or, you know, it can lead to mental health issues. You know, it can lead to a whole lot of, difficult issues.
Mm-hmm.
That might come back and haunt them later on in their life, you know.
Yeah. It also like affects a lot of people around.
Oh, of course.
Around you as well, and so like it's not just a you thing.
No.
It's a everybody thing.
Everybody, yeah.
Your loved ones, your family, your parents. Yeah.
You know, like I'm a perpetrator of domestic violence. I admit that, you know, and I've done my work and getting over that. But what I didn't know at the time was it wasn't just affecting my wife; it was affecting my kids. You know, my kids had to walk on eggshells because I was angry. You know, if I was drinking heavily and I would be angry, trying to control everything, and then all of a sudden I'd get angry and start smashing things up, because that's what I used to do. I'm proud to speak that, because that's what I did, and I'm not proud of it. But you know, meeting these boys at Hard Cuddles, they really showed me how to express my feelings, and talking with my wife too.
Yeah.
And how she felt when I used to do these things, and how, you know, like using intimidation, using abuse, you know, all these things I perpetuated onto my wife, and my kids could feel it, and it put it affected the whole house to my children as well. You know, my children were too scared. You know, they felt scared of me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to promote it. I'm now trying to promote them to come to me, and they do now. Yeah, we talk about a lot of issues. We discussed some stuff last week on rejection and that. So, I'm happy with the way our relationship is now, but it hasn't always been like that. There's been mistakes along the way, and those mistakes have created new learnings for me. So I mean, for men, you know, there's mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes, but mistakes, you can always create learning from mistakes.
I feel like the best lessons are learned from mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. You know, when you go and touch something that belongs to your mum and she said don't touch it, that was a mistake, and then you get the jandal in the back of the head, and then you go, well, don't do that again, that's a mistake, you just created a learning for yourself. Touch that, you know what I mean?
I love that because we talked about this cycle culture that's in the Pacific Island, like us, you know, and to hear you say that, you know, things have changed in my family, you know, now my kids can come and talk to me. Like, that change is like gonna affect your kids, but then your kids, and now you've created a new culture, which is, I feel like a lot of families feel like this is just the way it is, we're stuck here, this is how it is. But you know, your example, it's like telling me like, nah, man, like it doesn't have to be like this.
No, and it doesn't. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. You know, my wife over the course of, we've been together right 24 years, 24 years married, I think, yeah. And over the course of that time, she's worked with me, and it's subconsciously been helping me, like, watching Dr. Phil and all these things.
Hey, I like Dr. Phil, man. He's the man.
I was like, oh, I don't want to watch that. But you know, I watch it and I go, oh yeah, and and we're all of us are in a happy space where, you know, one of my kids has told me something that was really, that I didn't even know, and it sort of made me angry. Not at one of my kids, but I felt really sad because I wasn't there to help them during that time. And then because that person or that kid was getting into some big trouble everywhere, and then I didn't find out till years later, and they told me, and I was really upset with myself because I just thought that one of my children was just getting into trouble because they're just a bad kid. But I didn't realize that something happened to that kid, and it sort of affected everything in their life to a certain point. And then when that person spoke about it, I sort of clicked. Now I know why you were behaving. I know why you were getting arrested. I know why you were driving drunk everywhere. I knew why you were doing drugs or whatever, you know. And that affected me, and that was another thing why I had to change, because I made it that uncomfortable that my own kids wouldn't come and share with me. So, and yeah. But it's created made us all really close.
Yeah. Would you so you made a change, right, to put yourself in a position where your kids can come to you. Has, like, looking at it from the kids' perspective, it would have probably been a little bit like tough to go from unapproachable to now approachable. Was it like a process for them to like be comfortable with it? Because maybe it would have felt awkward for them.
Yeah, it was quite awkward for them because, you know, they would. Even now, it's a bit awkward for them because they go, "Oh, what's Dad doing?" he's meditating. You know, I'm listening to meditation music.
Yeah.
Clear my head and finding these new avenues to make myself better and be happy with myself, because I'm happy with myself now. I'm not scared what other people think, because a lot of things that made what I think made my life hard was I was scared to, you know, that whole island thing or not island thing, but probably in general everything.
Yeah.
I was scared what people thought, what I did, and what people thought. So I don't care, whatever, if I say something here and it helps one person, then that's cool. But if other people don't like it, then that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not for you, it's for that person that it helps.
100%. I love that, man, because that's exactly like my mindset too. Like with what I'm doing, I don't really care about becoming this super well-known guy. That's not why I do what I do. Like I'll send out messages just for the individual.
Yeah.
Right. And if that's the only person, right, that gets something out of this, then that's the only person.
Yeah.
Job successful, you know?
I think, well, for me, success, it's not money for me. I've never had money, so I don't really care for it.
Yeah.
But success for me is just working towards my passion, which is helping men or humans. You know, that's my goal. And I always have this thing that I sort of follow. And you know, if you see a tombstone,
yeah,
and then you have the born date where you're born,
right,
and then you have a dash, and then the end date. So I always look at that dash and think that dash represents all my life, just that small little dash. So I think, what can I do in that dash to make a difference? You know, and that pushes me every day. Like, all right, today I'm going to write out some speeches.
Yeah.
Build that dash up, because when a person comes and looks at your grave and looks at your tombstone, they want to know what that dash represents. You know?
Who was he?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
When he was here, who was he?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you know, and that dash for me. Yeah, I just want to make it count. That's why I do my work, and I love doing it. Yeah, and I have some good guys that I do it with, some really amazing dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. A couple more things, and then
yeah, no dramas.
We'll let you go. How do we find Hard Cuddles? Like online?
So it's online. It's hardcuddles.com.
Yeah.
And there you'll find out all the information there. We've got packages there where we we have, there's certain packages like a warrior package, I think, and there's some other packages. But at the end of the package, there's usually a camping trip, and we'll take clients away. Like there's 3 of us take clients away, and we go on a retreat where we're fishing. Yeah, we're doing men things, you know, and fishing, and we're camping. It's usually up in New South Wales. And yeah, and we're talking, so we're doing a lot of talking and counselling, and we're doing some surfing. I've tried to get on the board, but it's a bit sick. I pretty much sink the board, but the boys, you know, we've got like surfboards in there, and we go fishing at night. We do a lot of walks, and yeah, it's a really good space. So that's what we do. And on our website too, there's some blogs in there. It sort of talks about the founder, James Harding. That's the guy who founded it, and he's got a book. The book is called Hard Cuddles, and it talks about his life and how he came to form Hard Cuddles. So he was involved in the underworld. So yeah, in Melbourne.
Right.
And then he wanted to get out of it, and he
now look at him go. Hard Cuddles.
Yeah.
Actually, this book sounds real interesting. Just James the Hammer Harding.
Yeah.
Like,
Hammer.
I want to know.
Yeah,
like, how did the man get the hammer? You know.
Well, that's why.
You gotta read, eh?
Yeah, you gotta read it. There's some pretty interesting stories in there. So
Yeah, I believe that.
yeah.
If there were people right now who are going through something but scared to speak out, what would you encourage them to do?
I would encourage them to maybe see a counsellor. If not, speak to a close friend. Because disclosing information can really help in your recovery and the next steps for you moving forward. Because when you have problems or you have things going on in your head, that you can't sort of get past, then you're going to be stuck there for a long time. And that can lead to depression, it can lead to a whole lot of other issues. So I think if you can talk to someone about it, that would be great. If not, talk to a counsellor. Or you could reach out to us at Hard Cuddles.
Let's do that. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to say before we?
I just want to say out there to the young people, just hey man, everybody makes mistakes, and mistakes is so you make mistakes. After that, you can create something, and it's a learning space. You know, just be a bit easy on yourself. You know, doesn't always have to be like if I make a mistake, then
it's the end of the world. Yeah.
But that's all. But hit us up if you need help.
Let's go. Hard Cuddles. Thanks for coming on, man.
No worries, bro.
Appreciate the message. I've learnt a lot about this whole thing, because I'm like, this is kind of like my thing that I like doing too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how to go about it, so I'm just using my platform just to like keep talking about it, and then something will come and I'll figure it out. But
I just hope the Polynesian community, you know, that I just want to put out there to the Polynesian community in Melbourne that, you know, we're here. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of island boys, and there's a few that have come to seek help.
Yeah.
I remember we were at our 21st, and there was a couple of island boys that said, I need a hand, man. So, you know, so the need is out there, so I just want to put it out there some more.
Yeah.
And just say we're here, man. So, yeah.
Cool. All right, that's us.
Cheers, Loz.